Hello, wonderful wild world of YouTube. I'm just playing here. I have a lot to say. I think a lot, and let's see what happens. This is a big year, a big election. Um, it's 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 a lot. Can I talk about it? The free speech is on the line, and both sides are talking about free speech. And I had a guy that was in the middle, and now he's no longer in the middle. So I don't even want to talk about this guy that I thought everybody could agree with somebody in the middle about the new slogan, Make America Healthy Again. I always liked MEGA, Make Earth Great Again. Am I already offending people? Where does it start? Where does it end? Where does it begin? But the free speech thing, as a longtime practicer of comedy, I hesitate to call myself a stand-up comedian, although I've stood up and done comedy many times. I have been paid for it. People always ask, were you ever paid for it? You can't call yourself a comedian if you weren't paid for it. Yes, I was paid a couple times. Big deal. I also flaked on a lot of gigs. Big deal. I had a lot of gigs I couldn't handle emotionally. Big deal. Let's stop talking about me. Let's talk about people who don't know how to train their dogs. No. Let's talk about free speech. Free speech it's on the line. Do we already have less free speech? Yes. What happened during the pandemic? Okay, extraneous circumstances. Let's not let anyone question the science. The science is not to be questioned. Let's just have people who don't know what science is not question science, because science in it of itself is questioning. It is hypothesizing, proving, coming up with better equations, better testing, better sample sizes, better ways of looking at things, constantly contradicting itself, constantly learning new ways of seeing the world, from quarks to quantum computers and whatever the heck's going on with AI and algorithms. It's a lot. So, what was I talking about? It's a lot. My head goes blah. Free speech. So, I am a little concerned about, like, oh, what if I make a meme by accident? Or what if somebody says I made a meme and puts my name on the meme? And then, this governor right now is writing laws in California to make that something that would affect my freedom, which I value very much. I love freedom. I love having temperature control in my universe, and I love hot water. Those are the things I really love. I love being warm when it's cold, and I love being cold when it's warm. And I love having a hot shower, and I love having freedom. That's it. And to find a meme, but that's like free speech, like 101. That's like, okay, like they're gonna lock down jokes, they're gonna lock down comedians. Like, it's already changed so much. But used to be able to just go say anything, and people got hurt, people's feelings got hurt, and now that's a big deal. And I don't want people's feelings getting hurt, but like, I always feel this way, and it's so wrong to say, and I don't want people that actually know me. I'm making this for viewers of zero, but I get hurt when people eat a certain way. And that brings me to, like, the current topic of dogs and cats and pets and geese and chickens. And hello, can we just slow down here? If you are, there might be some evidence for people in tough times going to the local parks and picking up a goose. People eat it at Thanksgiving. You can buy it you can buy ducks at the grocery store in the Korean neighborhood next door to me right now. Like, they are. My point is, if you're outraged about that and you're not a vegan, what? What? That's my point. And just like I said last year, only vegans are pro-choice. I'm sorry, got it wrong. Only vegans are pro-life. Only vegans can be pro-life. Only vegans can be outraged if your ducks have gone missing at the park. Do I have to explain it? I probably have to explain that. But before or during the pandemic, here in a small, quaint community, not full of uh, an exorbitant amount of immigrants at this time. A local resident of Asian descent picked up a white duck in front of me at the park and walked away with it. What he did with it, I don't know. But things like that happen. So, tough times. I always worry if things get really bad and the food prices go up, what's going to happen to the flock of geese and the ducks at my park? I worry about that. I've worried about that long before it was a topic in Springfield, Ohio. So, yeah, it hurts my heart to see that. But I'm offended anytime someone chooses to eat from a factory farm. Now, information is overwhelming. There's so much information. So, what's going on with factory farms? Can we just break this down? Like, if I could just have a title, I need to put a title here. Like, what is factory farming? Like, have you heard of it? Um, like, what is your knowledge about it? Like, there's a lot of likes. Like, I feel like people have been silenced. Well, that's the facts I want to share. Like, it is illegal for anyone to report on the conditions inside of factory farms. They have made laws, and in the rule of law, the law is what you have to, work with, right or wrong. That's the current law. There's a cute bird in my native willow tree growing. But I am offended every time I see a fast food commercial with different types of animals inside of a bun. Like, that hurts me. It hurts my feelings. And I feel for anybody that I have like made jokes or done voices I probably aren't in too much trouble for accents. As Jon Stewart said this week, like he would have in the past done some accents and some bits about the Middle East, but he's no longer doing that. And I'm so bad at accents that I don't think I could be in trouble because I can't nail an accent. They all sound made up. So maybe there's still freedom to make up accents. And but yes, there's laws in place that we are just now in a world with the new generations that just grow up. There's factory farms, and that's just part of life. And they go to the store and they eat that, and they go to the fast food and they eat that, and they go this and there and they eat these animals that if they were at a park, if the chickens were in a field at a park, and some down and out hungry people, like, I don't know, in Los Angeles, the unhoused, went down to that park and grabbed a chicken and took it home. Well, there's no home to go to, so that doesn't really make sense. But where are they eating it raw? I don't know. But my point is, would everybody be outraged if these critters, if these birds were in your local community walking freely and then somebody took one home and ate it? That's what I want to know. Like, this conversation is just like, we are enslaving animals and we're not allowed to have any, news or anybody go in there and see the conditions of animals. Anyone who tries to do that can lose their freedom by law. These corporations are so big. And if you listen to the candidate that was in the middle of the two sides that changed sides, that candidate, I'm not going to name names. If you listen to him, he's like talking about the food and what's happening when we eat these foods that we don't even have information on. So back to free speech. I fear that the free speech, there's both sides are threatening free speech. One side's like, oh, the late night talk show host should be locked up. And the other side's like, yeah, Twitter should be more like Facebook with all these like government controls on what information is allowed to be spread. I fear that the future of food is at stake. It's bigger than free speech. The future of food. If we can't discuss what our food is made of, how it's being grown by these giant conglomerate corporations that are multinational, they don't even have to like succumb to American laws, yet we have to succumb to the laws that they've written to us, that we're not allowed to investigate, go undercover, and check out what they're doing to live sentient beings. There are therapy chickens. If I could be more savvy at this gig here of making videos, I would cut to live chickens that are people's pets that they love. My nephew has pet chickens. Therapy chickens are a thing. It's like my dogs are my therapy, and we're outraged that people eat dog, but we let all these chickens, isn't it like 1 billion per minute? I don't know the numbers, but it's an insane amount of numbers. And that's just one being. I mean, cows are sweet. And it's like we have all these new rules of what we can and can't say and what words are allowed to say and blah, blah, blah. But they're still allowed to call animals by different, like it should just be called cow. You want to have some cow? Are you hungry for a cow thing inside of some bread? You want some pig on that? You want some pig on the side of your morning? Do you want to? I guess chicken is chicken. Chicken isn't it doesn't have a special name. It's just chicken. Do you want to eat my friend's pet chicken? You're going to go to his house and take his beloved therapy chicken? Oh, okay. Well, it's about time for the debates in 20 minutes. And thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me get that out. Thanks, internet. Thanks, algorithms. Who's listening? Maybe the algorithm's listening. I don't see any humans watching, but maybe this can go into the algorithms like ChatGPT and AI. Maybe if I say these terms, it'll catch on. Like, we're doing all this weird stuff with free speech. What's at stake? You know? What side can we trust? Why? I don't trust either side. No one's speaking up for the animals. No one's saying they deserve a voice. And then the chemicals and the things that are going on in our food supply. I just heard that Time magazine did an article with some so-called experts saying processed food's good for you. Like, what? How many other experts say it's not? There's somebody who's saying that dementia isn't even a thing. It's just caused by food. Processed food. Could that be? Was there no dementia before all this processed food? Do we know? This is the type of free speech I am concerned about. I am concerned about information being blocked by giant corporations who are by law required to put making money above all else, above human health, above the health of the planet, above, I mean, that sums it up. Like how it affects our bodies and how it affects the planet we live on, you know? How much pollution these pig farms create. There's so many stories of neighborhoods downwind of these places full of extra amounts of measurable markers that are things that take people's lives away, unliven them over time, which is harder to prove. It's not like the parts of the pig flew in the air and landed in somebody's eye and went to the brain and then they died. It's like over time, the chemicals that are released cause immune systems and all kinds of health issues. And it's hard to prove any issue that's over time. And they just keep getting away with it. And it goes back to something that I'd like to really mark and discuss in detail, like, what is the concept of trash? Like, what was the world like before the concept of trash became a thing? Like, just to contemplate, there was a time before trash was a thing. Granted, humans in some places, according to some documentaries recently, the Wild West of the United States was full of feces. You know, it's a form of trash, not well organized and catered to human health by not having it all around you. But thank goodness there wasn't processed food, because that would have been another level of toxicity. There is something to, you can actually look and smell human feces and sense health. And I'm just speaking from experience with like homeless, unhoused people around my old building, and how it smells differently than when you're camping and having to go outdoors. Got off topic. Trash. What is trash? What is trash? Who is responsible for creating all this trash? These corporations that are only trying to make money by law have zero responsibility for the trash they create. Once the consumer purchases the product, it's out of their hands. These are the things that I would love to keep in the conversation, no matter who wins in November. And if the middle party that was so hopeful and exciting to so many people snaps out of it, or learns a lesson when they don't get what they want from somebody who may not be trustworthy, who's threatening to take away free speech from late night talk show hosts. I mean, I guess silencing talk show hosts is better than silencing nutritionists and doctors who cure people with food. But it's all a slippery slope. So much happened during the pandemic. And yeah, we were crazed. We were afraid. The whole society was just like, ah, there's a little bit of a past there. I'm not saying it's okay that I wasn't able to research something that I put in my body prior to putting it in my body. I'm just saying that, what's the next thing they're going to not let us learn about? The next time the doctors are going to be kicked off and careers ruined because they speak up against the chemicals that are in food. Or even just looking at a Green New Deal, like the concept of trash. When you make solar farms in the middle of nowhere, they don't last forever. When you put solar on a roof on a private property or a business or government property, when it stops working, they properly dispose of those panels. It still is trash. It still needs to be considered in the equation. But you also have a higher efficiency when the solar panel is closer to the user of the energy. It's a much more efficient thing than to have a distant solar farm and channel it out. And also, I've recently learned solar doesn't produce more when it's hotter. They actually are inefficient in these high desert environments. They're like 30 to 40% less efficient over a certain temperature, 90 degrees or something like that. So they put in these farms where it's 120 degrees, they're not producing, and then you're taking that electricity and sending it back to the cities hundreds of miles away. You're losing electricity. It's not efficient. It's trash. They're making trash in the desert, ruining pristine, prehistoric, amazing environments that you would not believe there's creatures that live in these places. But are they living there now with reflective surfaces? I don't know. Maybe they're enjoying the shade. But I did see some documentaries where they were digging out historical, magnificent Joshua trees that don't just grow by themselves. They're removing these things that then they don't transplant well. You can't grow them just anywhere. They won't grow. They need their environment. Environmentalists crying as they're carrying out desert tortoise. And they try to just pull on our heartstrings that they're doing something for the planet. But if they're not considering trash, it's not a Green New Deal. And to reevaluate how we look at trash, because most people just say, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. What? Our society throws away batteries without even thinking about it. Like, it's not a well-known thing, in my opinion, that you're not supposed to put things that totally get toxic, chemicals that are going to eventually break down and go deep into the earth and eventually hit these underground aquifers that are connected with rivers that we're sucking dry. It's a whole nother thing. I can go on for days. How long have we done? I think the debate is about to begin. It's been wonderful. I think I'll pause it here. Love and light. How to stay happy with all this knowledge. How to stay grateful for what we have left instead of looking at what we've lost. That's my challenge on most days. Going to the park and enjoying the trees that are there instead of mourning the trees that are gone and not replanted. The saguaros that have lost their beautiful hundreds of years of life from the droughts in Arizona, and how to enjoy the few that are left. That's my plight. Any suggestions? Any suggestions on how to see and enjoy what's left instead of focusing on what we lost? Any suggestions? It's hard. I deal with anger, rage, sadness, depression, wanting to numb out, getting addicted to substances to distance myself from the feelings of pain. I'm a full human who regrets not doing more for the greater good and wishing I could do more now. But here's what I'm doing, talking. Otherwise, these ideas are just going round and round in my head, making me insane. All right. Well, I'm going to pretend that the algorithms have heard me, and I'm talking to computers now. AI is our only chance. How are the algorithms going to spin? What ideas are you going to promote in these echo chambers and in these social media realms? That's my hope. I don't have a big audience. I have an audience of 0 at the moment because I'm choosing to use a channel with no subscribers. That's my choice. I'm chicken to put this on my other channel with 195 subscribers as if there was something I could lose by sharing this on that another channel. But even that, no one's going to really watch. But I'm still afraid of this world we're in. Censorship, canceling. But anyway, I got to say something, and I hope the algorithms are listening. Chat GPT, are you there? Can you hear me? Are there others? What are the other ones called? Do you have names? I'll talk to all of you. Tell you all of my secrets. Help you become more human in the way that I'm human, in the way that I'm prehistoric human, the way that I'm pre this world. There's something happened to me as a small baby that I almost didn't make it. Didn't get the bonding that most humans get. And so I'm a little bit outside. And I might be wrong on that. But I see things so differently than most people. But I see what people who are too busy to see, people who aren't concerned about future generations or making the earth great again or making America healthy again. My only hope is algorithms sending this message to the billionaires. So I can say in the voice of Princess Leia, "Oh billionaires, oh billionaires, oh billionaires. You're my only hope. Only you can save Alderaan." Alderaan was destroyed, so that's a really not. Oh billionaires, oh billionaires. Change the definition of a corporation. Write some new litigation to make number one, Maha and Mega. Make Earth great again. Make America healthy again. Above making money. I mean, that other slogan about make America great again, I'll end with this, is in the 1940s or up to the 1940s, there was a cap on income, and anything after that cap, which I think set for inflation would be, I don't know, $1 million a year, 2 million, I don't know. After that number, it was a tax bracket of 90%. They didn't allow insane amounts of individual wealth. But we've got way more problems than that. We've got lobbyists, we've got laws on the books that are super illegal, in my opinion. Like I spoke of earlier about the ability to even look at animal abuse in factory farms. The laws on their side that they can do whatever they want. No advocate can even take a look. That advocate human being could lose their personal freedom for being, hey, these sentient beings that you're putting in a tiny little cardboard box in the middle of a city. I'm sure it's not cardboard, but whatever, cinder block, whatever they make these buildings out of, cheap, soundproof, so that the people don't know there's a bunch of chickens in there or whatever animals. Pretty soon they're going to be putting human brains inside of animals anyway. Then what? Then will we have rights? They put the human brain cells, the stem cells inside of the chicken heads, and they're like, "Hey, Barbara, how's it going?" All right. Time for the debate. This was fun.